Right, a bit of a weird one today. We've come to Larford to fish the Larford Feeder Championships, a qualifier. Only a little match, I think there's about 25 here. We've come now just to something a bit different, to be honest. I feel we've done a lot of F1-y type pole fishing, so we've come here to catch some different fish. So today, it's a basic, a simple feeder match. I can't do nothing else. It's all feeder fishing. I can't introduce bait in any other way. I can't catch bulk bait. It's all method feeders, cage feeders, pellet feeders, whatever. So a very, very simple route I'm going to go down. I've drawn peg 6, which, if I'm honest, I would be happy if the wind was this way. So I'm one off the end, Ian's on the end, and he's going to give me a really good go on the end peg there. But I'd be a lot happier if the wind was coming this way. But still, I'm quite happy to be on this bank. I think this bank will be a little bit more difficult today. So I'm going to go with quite a negative approach. Try and catch 50, 60 pounder skimmers maybe, and hopefully a few carp, maybe a couple of carp early, a couple of carp late. But because it's a nice feeder match, what I can do, I can talk a lot more when we're fishing this time, a bit more of a sociable approach. So I've got a couple of minutes left. I'm just quickly going to sort my ground bait out, make sure it's ready to go, and then we'll cut back when we start fishing. Is that all right? Yeah. 2 minutes, done. Intro, feeder on, let's play. Right, what end do you attach these feeders? This is upside down? That'll do. That's called the rod snapper, innit? Right. Well, all in's just gone. So we're going to put a little bit of bait in. I'm not going to put loads of bait in. I'm just going to put 3 or 4 little feeders of ground bait on this short line to start with. And then we're going to start at 20 metres, where everyone feeds that bomb line. So like I said, I really don't know how it's going to be today, with it being such high pressure. I'm not liking it for a skimmer day at all, but you don't know, so I've got to put some bait in no matter what. See what mood they're into. This carp, they're starting to swim on the top now, which really isn't good. Not when we want to feed a match and we're chucking in 8 to 10 foot of water. But yeah, so my short line, I'm going to put 2 lines in today to begin with. I'm going to put my short line in here now, which is what? Probably 14 metres. And that's where we're going to just try and get some bites, just try and catch some skimmers and whatever else, catch anything on. I may put an edge line in later on, but other than that, my main carp line is going to be at 20 metres, 20, 25 metres, where everyone feeds at 8mm pellets, which is a very popular line to sort of feed. I'm just going to one more. So I'll probably put a pint of bait in there. Not a lot, with a little bit. So that's just ground bait with a little bit of corn, and a couple of maggots in, just to get bites if anything else. Just take that clip off that, and then the other line, I say it's going to be at 20 metres, and that one I'm going to fish for carp. And what I've done, I've just softened up some fishery pellets, some 6mm and a couple of 8mm. I'm just going to give it 2 feeders of them at 20 metres. It's a lot deeper out there. Just to put a little bit of bait in. Be careful that them pellets don't stick in that feeder too much. Nicely just going in. Right, now we've got a bit of bait in. So I've started, I'm going to start on that 20 metre line, see if I can get a a quick bite. And for that, so I've gone with a thingy, I've gone with a hybrid with a boilie on. So I want to keep that quite carp specific. I mean, I want to catch some carp out there. I want all my skimmers short and easy to catch. So I've gone with a nice robust tackle on that. I've gone with an 11-foot rod that I can pull a bit with. I think I've gone with a 35 gram, a large hybrid, just to put a load of bait in. So I've got a big bed and a nice little boilie on that. Aside from that, that's going to be my main area where I want to try and catch some carp out in the lake. Probably the first few hours, that's where I want to spend my time. So other than that, my skimmer line. So I've gone with a little bit different on that. What we used to do when we used to come here is I used to fish a method feeder full of like mushed up meat or riddled meat, so it was full of little tiny pieces of meat. And you'd fish a decent hook length, probably a 4-inch hook length, out of your feeder. You wouldn't actually wrap it up in the feeder. And by using a really light feeder, say in today's case a 15 gram, you could mould your ground bait around the feeder, leaving your hook bait hanging out, chuck it in and get bites really, really quickly. Literally, as it hit the bottom, you'd catch these skimmers because they like following your ground bait through the water. It's almost like fishing a cage feeder, but on a method. So for my short line, I've gone with that. I've gone with a nice little 15 gram inline method on that one. And for that line, I've just fed ground bait. So I put some, had a grebe bite then. Oh no, that might be a bite. Yeah, or a bite. That was weird, the grebe bumped into it and then we tipped it round. It's only a skim bob. But yeah, so for my short line, that's going to be all out skimmers. I've gone with much lighter kit on that, nice little 10-foot rod. I'll say with a hair rig, I'm actually going to fish a piece of corn on that. I'm not going to go with meat just because it's gone a little bit cooler in the last few days. So that's planned. So we don't mind catching a net full of them all day. I think I'd have been a lot more comfortable down by the water today, but for filming purposes, that would have been a little bit difficult. So yeah, if they feed, I'll be a really happy lad. So yeah, pretty much they're going to be my two lines. So the only other options I've got is potentially throwing short later on, like 5-6 meters, where fish are often caught on this lake, but also down the edge. But because I'm one away from the end, I'm just going to watch Ian. If he catches down the edge, I'll feed it and I'll try and fish it. If he doesn't get any bites down the edge, then as far as I'm concerned, there's pretty much no chance in the world that I'm going to catch one. So I'm far better spending my time out on my lines where I am more likely to get a bite. So that's a nice little start. At least we've had a bite. So I'm going to feel my way in from there. So give this half an hour, give myself a chance of catching a carp. So just trying to hit that clip as far back behind my head as I possibly can, just so my feeder can sink on a straight line. Yeah, so we're going to give this 20 minutes at least, see what happens. So if we keep on putting fish in the net, I'll have to be sitting on it because not a lot's been caught yet. But I've got that skimmer line, I've fed that with just loose ground bait, it with a little bit of corn in, and a few maggots as well, just to get a few fish feeding on it, and that'll give me somewhere to drop on if I need to. But I say, without fishing these matches very, very often, it's quite tricky to understand what's going to be the right way to go, whether I need to attack it and catch loads of fish, or whether I need to just be nice and patient and just put odd fish in the net, fish for sort of 60, 70, 80 pound maybe if I'm lucky, depending if I can't feed or not. So it's just by stacking everything in my favour, and say covering both options, hopefully I'll be able to work out what's best as quickly as possible while watching these lads around me. But we'll see how it goes from there. Right, so second chuck, and it's gone round with a carpy, which has got things exciting. I think it's a carp, it's got to be a carp anyway. So that's the same, that's over me pellety line, that 20 metre line. I say any carp are going to be a massive bonus, I think. It doesn't feel very carpy at the minute with that wind going down that way, but I say you never know. So it's just the fish is so big in here as well, it's not worth yanking them and trying to get them in quick. It's just take your time, make sure you land everything. It's a big owl fish, this is potentially massive and we're going to need a bigger net, but see what happens. Feels odd, Rich. Might be an eel. I caught an eel for years. Catch loads in here, don't you? Yeah. Never ever caught an eel. Never. Haven't you? That's the next skill school, is snake charming. Okay? That's what we're doing. It's a big one, love. We've got ourselves a big one. Steady one, isn't it, to start with, isn't it? Just a steady Larford carp to start with. Well, that is hooked perfectly as well. He's hooked that good, I can't even get it out. Woo! Please don't do that. We got him. You got him, Richard. Like that, so that's a mega start. I say with us fishing for a relatively potential low weight, I mean that's just put 12, 13 pound in my net. So it gives me a little window of I can fish this line a little bit longer now to see what happens. So I've proper learnt that at the moment. I've been doing a lot of carp ledgering at venues the last few months with practicing at Hayfield and things like that. And if anything I've learned, it's patience is so important at this game. It's, for my own fishing, I'm terrible at it. For being an F1 angler, I'm a bugger. I want things to happen really quick. For fishing F1 venues a lot. But this game, it's just about sitting, setting your trap and having confidence that it's going to go. So we're off the mark, proper off the mark now. So the only tricky bit today is not being able to top up lines and make anything happen. I mean, or not without obviously fishing it or stopping fishing and feeding with a feeder. So what I've got to do, I'm going to give this line a little bit longer. We're 25 minutes in. So the first 5 minutes we're feeding, so we're fishing 20 minutes. And we've got 15 pound in the net, 14 pound in the net. So that is mega, and I've actually not seen another fish get landed yet, I don't think. There's a landing net up in the air down there, so someone must be catching a few fish. But it's looking good for the negative approach, not putting loads of bait in. Just sitting, being patient, and as long as I can catch a carp, there's a fish in my peg now, there's a line of them. As long as I can catch 1 or 2 carp an hour, maybe a bit more, maybe three carp an hour, then that's more than enough. So I'm definitely happily sit here 15-20 minutes between bites if that's what I need to do. I won't leave it that long between casting. I'm going to cast probably every 5 to 10 minutes. I'll see how long it takes me to get a bite. So that last bite came quite quickly. That last bite came probably after 2 or 3 minutes. So I'll keep a little eye on my clock and just see whether it's worth casting a little more regular, because they're not responding to a bait after a certain time. But so we'll see. So Ian's just hooked the carp next to me as well after putting some bait in. He's gone in and hooked the carp a lot shorter than where I've been. We've got another one. This is another skimmer. This is really starting to look nice now. So no trouble there with Liam. Ian's carp is that he's hooked it nice and short. He's hooked it like 10, 11 metres nice and short. So they're coming in quick already. So we've got that covered. We've got some bait at sort of 13, 14 metres. So if I need to, we can drop on that. And so that bite again's come 3 minutes in and it's gone round. straight away it's shown me that a nice busy day, some quick casting is going to be the way to go, I think, today. Make sure that feeder, so I'm trying to put my hook bait, my hook facing up and really, really close to the top of my feeder, just so I can get a bite quite quickly. I want my hook bait to be accessible almost as soon as it's into the water. As soon as it's on the bottom, rather, I want it accessible to the fish. So I'm happy with that. That's still looking good. What I have done that's worth mentioning on this line, I said straight on that already, instantly on it. There's a liner then. Yeah, what is worth mentioning with me pellets, so we've got to go with fishery pellets here at Larford, and they are the Screttins variety, definitely. So they're going to break down quite quick. So a hybrid's going to help, obviously, get down to the bottom. But I've also added a little bit of that pellet fixed powder that Bagham do, which is very, very, very sticky. I've literally added, I'll look at a pot on that in a minute, a pinch. I mean, the tiniest little bit, half a teaspoon I've added to probably 2.5 pints of wet pellets. And it really does help them get down. It halves the breakdown. And when I can't mess about with my different types of pellets, because I've got to use fishery pellets, so it's a lovely way of getting my pellets to break down how I want them to break down, rather than only having a fast breakdown, which I'd be limited to if I was to use these fishery pellets on their own, with them being Screttins. Like that lot. Dude, how many fish would you catch here mugging today? Right, well, we've had 45 minutes. What am I doing? And it feels like things are happening. It feels like it's fishing. I mean, Ian's catching really well next to me. He's had 3 carp now and some skim bobs. And so it definitely appears to be some carp he's feeding this end as well. So the wind just dropped a minute ago. And there's a lot of carp in front of us down this end. So what I want to do is I just want to have a go short, because there've been loads and loads of fish just swimming at sort of 15, 16 metres. So I just want to have a quick drop over that ground bait and just see how quickly I can get a bite. Like I say, I'm not even going to proper rough and ready as. I'm not even going to tuck my feeder into my ground bait. I'm going to leave it loose. Me hook bait, sorry, into my ground bait. Yeah, I'm going to leave it dangling, which is very, very odd. I'm just going to whiz him over the top of my skimmer line, just to see if they're playing. I'd say this used to be frightening how fast you'd get your bites. You'd literally get them now on the settle. They'd be rattling your tip. Very awkward being so high off the water, but that's the way it is. So what I'm just going to have 3 really quick casts on this now. Just like 2-3 minute casts. Again, put a little bit of bait onto this line. Just see if they're having this. Already I'm a little bit worried that that's not been rattled on the way in from skimmers. I'd expect a really, really quick response if they were playing. But say it's still worth 3 quick casts. Little liner then, let's fish it. So you see there's carp absolutely everywhere. A lot of carp swimming around. So it'd be a phenomenal waggler or mugging on the pole day today. So it definitely seems that they want to be, at the minute, they want to be up this end. So it's quite confusing what to do. So I've seen Ian's definitely the best. Ian's had 3 carp. Chap up there I've seen catch 1 carp. And then we're on 1 carp and 3 skimmers. Oh, there's indications on that now. There's fish on that straight away. Maybe just for the first few casts it's going to be better. Put my bait inside the feed. I'm going to do that next cast. Ian's got another skimmer that time. Right, there's another 30 seconds if it hasn't gone. Whiz it in, and now I'm going to put it inside my bait this time. I'm going to do it with a mould and put it in my bait, but even though it's a small feeder, I'm going to use a large mould with the small feeder. She's going to put a lot more bait on. It's another skimmer. So he's going to have a lovely day's fishing there though if it carries on like that. Oh, there's fish on that line, like. Bring that in. So just going with a little piece of corn on the hook to begin with. Just on it. On a quick stop. Look, and same again, I'm going to put my bait right on top of my feeder. Just so it's accessible immediately to the fish. So by using a big mould but with a little feeder, get a little bit more bait on it. That. Just a couple of quick casts still, see what's happening. So we're still only really early in. I should still be fishing that carp line, but so I'm just starting to get the feeling that it's going to be good. We're going to catch some fish today. Just with so many fish moving about, but it's quite weird. It's such a warm wind as well blowing down that way. I'd have expected everything to have gone that way, but so I suppose it's with us having a bit more room than normal. There's a lot of fish up this end of the lake. So he's catching really well on that now. He's gone straight back in, gone round again with another skimmer. That one on. Oh, still eyeing it. He's a proper nice fish as well, a sort of pound and a half. Well worth catching if you can really rattle them. I thought he'd have been sort of a little bit too high up there normally. It always used to be for me that 4 was sort of a bit of a dodgy one. I know it's the end today, which will help. But that area always used to be a bit weird for skimmer fishing because it's a little bit shallower. Always used to get better the more to my right you used to get, especially early teens. They used to be the best area. They're really good. Ooh. That was a bit fast and furious. Don't know what that was. Something pecking at it and not hooking themselves. Could be a really little fish that. I might have to shorten that hair, but if I'm honest, I don't want to go down that route because then I'm just catching smaller fish than what I actually want to catch. I love perch, you hit me rod, I love when they do that. You can feel perch go do-do-do at the end of your rod. Like that. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Right, so yeah, one more cast. That's how we want it to be, in and round. That's how it's meant to be. Well, this ain't no skin bob. There's a little tiny one if it is. No, there's a little roach or something there. And the signs are looking good. If we can do that every chuck, that's what we want. Obviously not fall off, but a bit of a bigger piece of corn. Definitely being silly. Catching skim bobs ain't the way to go today. I don't think. I need to be on a line further out on the lake where at the early stage I've got a chance of catching some carp, because otherwise I'm just going to get hammered. There's lots of fish on this line, but so that one I lost then, that was definitely a little tiny one. And Ian's hooking too many proper fish. I think that's his 4th carp now on at 20 metres. So we need to go back over that. Have a little look. Let's give this last cast, give this another 30 seconds. If I don't get one, so we're going to go straight back out to that 20 metres on hybrid. I don't know what I am thinking, he's catching a lot better on a method, putting a little bit more bait in. So I might swap that, I'm saying I've got rod there ready to go that I can chuck method over, I might swap that. Have a little go on that in a second. I definitely think we need to get further out into the lake. This is wasting my time. Go on, go around, you little bugger. There's loads on it, but they're like little tiny things, you know what I mean? They're not eating it. Which ain't no good, dude. Ain't no good, I need to catch them big boys that he's gonna catch. Right, well we've been fishing about an hour and a half now. And I've been through all sorts already and trying to work out what it's fishing like, what sort of day it's going to be. It's been right weird. So for that first hour, so Ian next to me were absolutely emptying it. And I was convinced it was going to be a mega day. I mean, we were going to catch a load of fish, but just all of a sudden, everything's just disappeared. Everyone stopped catching. So I've skipped about quite a bit. I've had 2 goes on my short line now over my ground bait, and I've not caught a fish on it yet. I've got quite a few indications on it, so there's lots of very little fish present, I think, and they're that small, they're little tiny skimmers. They can't even take my corn and the hair rig into the back of the throat. So I'm getting quite a few little stabs and that, but not getting a bite. So I've aborted that completely. I'm not going to bother with that. It seems that by being patient on my longer line, if I sit and wait, I will get a bite. I mean, eventually I'll get a bite. I don't think I lost the carp. I don't know whether it was a massive big liner and it's kept on going. But I've just had a carp go through it a minute ago, and then I went straight back in and caught a skimmer. So it's definitely where the fish are feeding, and the skimmers out there are the decent ones, the 2-pounders. So I'm definitely going to put most of my attention on focusing on that one line. One thing I have done is I've swapped rods on that 11-footer. It was I've got quite a big heavy hybrid on that, because that was just in case I wanted to launch it as well. And I just think it's a little bit too heavy. I've gone with a 45 gram because of the depth. It's just a little bit too heavy, and I'm bumping a couple of skimmers off on the way in. So I've just swapped to my little rod just with a method feeder as well, so I can put a bit more bait in, but with a little bit of a softer rod, so it's a bit nicer landing them skimmers. So I've swapped to that over that 20 metre line, and say that straight away then we just had two pulls off it. I've had a little play about with ground bait and pellets as well, so Ian's caught well with ground bait on his hook. So I had a couple of casts with ground bait, but it weren't right. I didn't get a bite on ground bait. So I've swapped back to pellets, and saying I've had a couple of indications immediately. With a liner then. So it's definitely, it's not going to be a fast and furious match. I definitely just got a bit excited that first hour, and there were a couple of mugfish feeding. Now it's turned into the type of match I was expecting. So there's not a lot being caught. There's a few fish getting caught to my right, but only an odd fish from what I can see. and there don't seem to be many carp feeding yet. A lot of the carps are all up in the air cruising about at the minute. So we've got to wait and see whether they decide to come in and have a little feed or not. So it could literally be the last half hour or 15 minutes that a few fish come in, but it only takes a couple of pulls short or down the edge on here to catch. I mean, they can be £20 a piece. So if I can keep sneaking at these skimmers. So these skimmers are probably, they're £1 a piece at least, pound and a half. So I ain't gonna catch a lot. If I can catch 10 an hour, you're still putting a good 10, £15 an hour in the net. That's another one come off. It's just the size of method, I don't know, probably I'd have been better off going down the elasticated route with a really light elastic, just with the way these are behaving. But so if I do that, then I'm just going to get smashed off by any carp that I get. Need to play them a little bit more carefully, I think. A little bit slower. But other than that, no, I'm happy with how it's going now. As I say, I feel like I've made my choices. It's definitely evident there's a lot of carp further out. I just got to hope that eventually they put their heads down. If I keep nice regular casting, making some noise, then hopefully a few fish will put their heads down. And it's a little bit deep out there, but there's still a chance for a few going down, hopefully. So we're going to carry on with this. But maybe, so as soon as we feel that there's a few fish moving again, we might drop in on a really short line and see. So I think down this edge is going to be my next area that I put a little bit of bait. So probably a little bit further out in about 3 foot. I'm going to put some bait down there shortly. I'll tell you, there's going to be an all-out carp attack now and try and catch some carp. Them skimmers aren't playing ball in numbers on the short line, probably just because we're up this end and it's flat calm, and so it's just not quite right. So I'm going to really concentrate and be nice and patient on this long line. So give me the best chance of catching a carp at the minute, with a few of them decent skimmers involved as well. So we'll plug along and see what happens. Clipped up, clipped up. We got him. Here's patient day, innit? We've just learned it 3 hours earlier than we learned at Boston. What it? You think we'd have caught at Boston doing that? We'd caught a bit more. £65, £64. Well, we needed £80 to get into good money, didn't we? It's a really good money, I mean.
Even one more carp
would have put, yeah.
at that time, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's all that was required, wasn't it?
Well, skimmer wouldn't fit.
Best skimmer in the world, that. I love skimmers.
What was the 11? That skimmer possibly wouldn't do.
Yeah, possibly.
It was that time.
It was that close, wasn't it? Oh, dude, what's going on today? It's 2 I've had, one there and one there.
Random and snow.
Proper as well, whatever it is. Yeah, it's like gone, do you know what I mean? You can tell it's caught on it, and I felt it like pull then, and I think lot's gone. No, just hook length's gone on it. So it wasn't even my feed that were caught, it were like, go right, wow. We're now right in the middle of the match, I think, are we? We are exactly in the middle of the match. And it's turned into the match we expected almost. That first hour was definitely a bit of false hope. It seemed that they were going to have a proper chew for a little while. And it's just fizzled out completely. Everyone's really or everyone up this end seems to be really struggling for an odd bite. So that's all I'm catching is the odd skimmer, but I'm happy with that. The carp are still moving about though. See one just swimming past there then, but so as long as we can keep putting an odd fish in the net, which we are at the minute, nothing big, but say I'm catching skimmers slowly, I can probably put £10 an hour in the net. Which if I can do that for a couple of hours, get myself up to sort of £40 with an hour or an hour and so to go, then we give ourselves a chance at catching some big lads later on. I definitely we'll either end up catching nothing at all later on, or I think they will come in because there's a tiny skimmer. The last two have been that big. The carp are mooching about. I mean, there's loads of them everywhere. I'd say Ian next door's had one come into his peg, but not feed. So it says that there's a chance they could come and have a look, maybe later. So at the minute, it's all about just keeping in the gang. So I've still only had that one carp, and I've lost another. I had another big lad on that just randomly found a bit of a snag and unfortunately pulled out, which was a shame. That was a bit of poor luck, if anything. Shame we couldn't have had that. We'd have been well in the race if we'd have landed that one, but we didn't. So at the moment, I'm perfectly happy to carry on with this. I've completely abandoned that short line. Catching small skimmers and little fish, definitely a waste of time in these conditions. They don't want to play. So at least on this longer line, I'm half got a chance of catching a carp. But no, I'm quite happy with how things are going. I think we've got 20 odd pound in the net, which I'd say isn't brilliant, but it's all right. It'll definitely be up there from what I can see. There's not a great deal of fish getting caught. I've seen that the chap 3 pegs down's had 3 carp. I think Ian's got 5 carp, I think. So I'm still well behind on numbers, but I've got a carp's worth of skimmers, so I'm on 2 carp technically, if we're going to look at it that way. So now it's just a case of waiting for the right time to feed some bait short and to make me move on to that when I think the time's right. So I've noticed before on this venue when I've been here, not on feeder matches, obviously on normal matches, that when the carp are cruising like this, you don't catch many short. But all of a sudden, everything will vanish in the middle of the lake, and you'll start getting bites on your short line when it's pole fishing. It wouldn't shock me for it to be very similar today, sometime towards the end of the match. I wouldn't be surprised if all these cruisers disappeared, because the cruising's short, so they know that the bait's going to be going in. They're going to be able to clock it. Yeah, another one swimming off there. Is that one on? No, little liner. So with a bit of luck, I think they will have a little feed. That one's on. And that's a carp as well. That's exactly what we were waiting for. Are we going to have to unclip? Yes, we are. We wimped out of that one, Rich, but it had to be done. I'll put my clip back on while I'm here. See, it doesn't take many, it's just getting lucky with them. See, little numbers of these big fish. It's a very big fish. Oh, don't go again, I don't unclip again. So I've got to remember about that snag this time. So see how short the carp are coming now. That's 2 that have just moved at sort of 6-7 metres. So as soon as I land this, I'm going to think about putting a little bit of bait just shorter and see if there's a chance of getting a bite on that, because whether they'll come right into the edge, I don't know, with it being a bit cooler and so calm. I'm very, 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 very shallow at the moment. I think it might be worth taking a risk and just going a little bit deeper into, say, 3 foot. It might also get me a few bites quicker than others that go down the edge, and then I can come even closer into the bank if that's where the fish want to be. Maybe I'm doing it a little bit early now. No, in fact, I've changed my mind. I'm going to give it another 15 minutes before we feed any bait short. Just take your time with this one, make sure we get them in the net. Be really careful of this snag. I think it's just because the water's so low and that ledge is going over. I think it's just my line just caught on something on the bottom, but this fish is a lot higher in the water, so it should be safe with this one, or safer. Now it's slowly going okay. So I'm really disappointed at losing that last one. If I hadn't lost that, I'd be right up there in the mix now. But nothing we can do about losing them. It happens, especially on a snag like that we don't know about. It's a monster, but still worth a lot of skimmers. So we're going to carry on with that. Let's see if we can get lucky with 3 or 4 more pulls before they come short. Right, we're playing now. Let's see what happens. I don't like it when they fight so erratic like that. I like the plodders. A lot easier to land, aren't they, and less worry of them flinging your hook out. Yeah, does it makes them angry, doesn't it, when they're down there instead of out there? It's like a long commonness, so they're always the loony ones, aren't they? Very pretty one, lovely orangey one. Right, we're coming into definitely carpy time now, and so it's not woken up, it's not gone crazy, but as I say, there's bites to be had now. I'm catching, so I think this is me 4th carp. Yeah, my 4th carp, or 5th carp I've had on, my 4th carp. Hopefully that's going to end up in the net, and I'm getting steady bites off an odd skimmer as well. But things just slowly start to feel like they're changing a bit. I'm seeing an odd fish short, so I put some bait down here where it's probably 3 foot deep, and it's nice and flat calm, so if one does come over it, I should see it all fizzing up. I should see me ground bait getting a little bit excited, because I put half and half ground bait and micros down there, so we should see something happening if one comes into the peg. But the fish are they're moving a lot closer now. It just feels better all of a sudden. I don't know whether this is a big one or not. But yeah, so slowly we're still a long way behind. We just asked him what he's had. He's got 80 pounds. So I've got half that, I've got 40. But with fish this big, it doesn't take long to catch up. And so, I didn't like that then. I thought that one had come off, Richard. But yeah, so it's tricky to know what to do. So I'm not going to be the guinea pig. I'm not going to be the first one to drop on my short line, because I'd say if anything, I'm catching steadier than anyone on my longer line. So I'm going to stick with that till I can. I'll say the bait's there in place, ready if we need it on that short line. But at the minute, I'm perfectly happy sitting with this. So this is another 8 pound fish. So there's no need whatsoever to come away from a line where I could potentially put half a dozen of these in the net in the last spell. But other than that, it's going well. I'm actually enjoying it now. I feel that by regular casting, we're getting some bites. So it's definitely, you've got to keep ringing that big plop every now and again with the feeder going in. I'm definitely getting bites quite quick. If I sit and wait, then if I do get a bite, it's only a skimmer if I get a bite at all. So I'm much better casting every sort of 3-4 minutes, just making something happen, and it seems to be making quite a difference as well, having my hook bait right on top of my feeder. So it's in my mould actually before I'm putting any pellets in, just so I can really, it's instant. I mean, if a fish is going down, I've had a couple of bites where I've literally just finished sinking my line, put it on the rest, and I'm getting a bite. So it's, well, my feeder's not breaking down quickly, my bait's still accessible quite quickly. So with bites coming so quick, it's definitely getting me a few quick bites. If the fish are, they don't want to be on the bottom, but they're hearing that plop, but they're following the feed down, and now and again you get a quick pull off it. But what's also notable is there don't seem to be as many cruisers now, which is what I mentioned before. It's often you find that on here is when they're ready to come in and have a little feed, they all start disappearing off the top. So fingers crossed that they're on the way in, they're thinking about it. But like I said, we've got an hour and 40 odd left. So ideally I'd like to spend the next 40 minutes on this and then the last hour short, but so I don't want to make any silly decisions yet. I'm not sure what's going to win. That fish is going to put me close to 50 pounds. So we're going to carry on a couple more pulls. If I can get lucky with a couple more pulls in the next 40 minutes, catch up in, and you never know, we've got a chance. There is in Moby Willie. We're going to need a bigger boat.
That's catching in one fish, isn't it?
Potential.
40 pound.
Yeah, 40 pounds in here, yeah. 40 pounder. It's coming.
You ain't getting a 40 pound now.
I ain't getting it in that net, am I? Are you going to go to me clip or not? No. I went out then like well early, didn't I? I thought I was a lot closer to me clip then than I actually was. It's definitely a oh dear one. I feel my line touching something. Might be like a snag carp rig or something down there, mightn't it? And it just keeps locking up on it. It's perfectly where I snagged up last time in it. Exactly the same place. Well, at least this one's up. Although I think it's only like 4 foot deep here, 5 foot. I need a bigger boat. I think he's just a very, very long one, isn't he? A big, long, common one. Yeah, like an eel, but carp shaped. Oh, I was hoping he was going to be a proper big one then, and that made me excited. He's a big long one, that's why I can't get him up. And you meant to walk backwards with him or something when you got big carp on.
Not if you've got a net on yourself.
No, yeah, like, that could prove technical, couldn't it? I've walked back 20 foot with this one.
Run forward.
Yeah, he's technically massive, isn't he? Yeah. Yes, he is massive. It's going to be a squeeze. Should have put the big net on today, but I thought I was going to have a skimmer day. I thought it was going to be really, really hard and we weren't going to catch many Lepfians. It's not annoying. He's not one that we want to annoy, is he? No, not when they're this big. Scooping these does nothing, does it? Definitely want to walk back. I don't feel carpy until I'm walking back. Make him angry. Oh, we made him angry. The little roach then. See him? What were you filming that? We get to see the little roach going, yeah, mate, get out the way. It did, didn't it? Something happened. Little bugger. It don't fit. It will that way. We got him. Folded him in. It's a big boy. It's a big boy. I'd say, love, 15, 16 pounds, something like that. Right, well I'm in. I've just come into my last hour now. And it's going right good, if I'm honest. It's not what I expected. I expected to be seeing a lot more signs short now and seeing a lot more fish moving around, but it's actually my long line that's really changed in that I'm not getting a lot of bites still, it's still only steady, but every time it goes round now, it's proper fish. I mean, I've just had a great big one, only about 14, 15 pound, went straight back in next cast, I've done about 8 pound. So I've gone in again, waited 5 minutes, gone on again with a decent fish. So them big ones, they're on the way down now, so you can see there's pretty much no cruisers anymore on the top, which just means that they're putting their heads down and having a little feed. But from the match of where I'm going to go from here, other than stay on this, it's very tricky to say what else to do. I mean, so when the fish are this sort of size, you've got to be realistic about what you're going to catch. And so if I catch 4 or 5 more of these in the last hour, then it's another 40, 50, even 60 pound. So there's some serious fish. It's weird, every single fish has been a common today as well, so this is another one. And they fight so hard, they've really been pulling with it being so a lot shallower than normal with the waters being right down. They pulled like mad when they've been under the rod tip today. See, they're all decent fish. Every single one's around 8 pound-ish, most of them apart from, so I've had 2 bigger ones, one about 12, one about 14, but so the average has been, so exactly that, 7, 8 pound. Oh, I just got slapped by you. What's he done with that? He just snapped him off. Let me take that hook out. Thank you very much. Right, we're going to stick on that. I'm just going to feed a little bit of bait on this short light before we do anything. Just need to reattach him, and then we'll see where we go from there. Now, I think I'm on, got half hour to go now. And it's got weird again. So we've had a lovely previous half hour to this, where we've had a little spell of catching 3 or 4 carp, I think. And it was good for a bit, but then it randomly fizzled out for everyone now. So we all seem to catch a few carp in a little period, and it felt like things were really, really going to kick off for the last hour. But it's just gone again. It's that there've been very few carp visible for quite a while. And I thought that's because they'd gone down and fed, but I don't know, maybe now that it's feeding time and this wind's blowing, they may have gone that way a little bit, I don't know. Or maybe they're going to cross the lake. The wind's actually on our back a little bit more than it's blowing down the lake. And I know the chap on the end on the opposite bank's got a lot of fish. I think he's just put his 4th or 5th net in before. he's had a mega day. But on this bank, I don't know, so he just fizzled out. I've just got to sit out now and hope for an odd bite. I don't think it's worth doing anything else. I'm not going to risk it and go short or anything like that, because say I'm just as likely, he was us everywhere, just as likely to get a bite over my bait now, in fact more likely, than I am chucking over my short line that I've not actually had a go of. So now Ian's not getting any bites anymore, so you'd think that if there were fish in the area, then he'd have a few on that end peg, definitely. So the chap to the right's in the same position. He's had a couple short in the spell when we were all catching, and then back to catching nothing. So I just don't think there's any volume of fish on the short line willing to feed Galway. So, so half an hour to go. What I am going to do, the only thing to try and spare to bite, is cast a bit more regular again. I'm going to give it literally 4 minutes every cast and chuck in, try and have little quick casts to see if I can get a bit more activity in my bags, get a bit more bait down there, see if that gives us an extra rung. So we're only looking for another 2 fish, could be as much as 30-40 pounds on here, you never know. So I'm only looking for a couple more bites, but I've definitely got to make something happen. So I'm just going to have a few quick casts. So still on a meth feeder with pellets, that one's on. Yeah, still on a method with pellets. That's a carp in my peg as well, that's better. So fingers crossed, if we can get 3 or 4 more pulls last half hour, we've got a chance of getting up there, but we will see. But I'm properly enjoying it. It's a nice different match. It's quite frustrating not being able to pick up a catapult or throw some bait in or whatever else, but there's still quite a lot to think about, which it's made it good. It's also made things very simple. So we'll try and get this one in, and a few more quick casts, see if we can get another before we're out. It might be a big bream the way he's coming in. Oh no. Little baby carp, mate. He's my first mirror of the day as well, eh? Little baby Larford carp. No. 31-13 on it. Yeah, man. You said we had 30 pound of skin bobs in it. Martin build this bag. Menu expert, come on. Love you. It's 30 man, isn't it? 30.
£3, 31.8.
Yeah, man.
Well done, Jamie.
Thank you.
Bought nothing.
Thank you, love. Right, well, we're all done. We've just weighed in £112, which I'm really happy with. You know what I mean? I took that at the start up this end with that the wind going down that way. Unfortunately, and I'm sulking a bit, I've been beat by £1 up there to qualify in this section, which is a bit of a shame. But, like I say, I'm still fairly happy with how it's gone. I think, hindsight, I should have just sat it out on that one line. Same as always, I should have just been patient and waited for a bite. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how things gone. I think it's been good making decisions late on not to come short and not to risk trying other lines where I don't know if I'm going to get a bite, where I know I'm going to get a bite further out, and it's paid off pretty much in the north. Nearly paid off. So sadly, I'm a bit disappointed about losing that one in the snag over there. That's pretty much the one that's cost me. But still, a very enjoyable day and a very different way of fishing as well, catching on just on the feeder with just a feeder only match. So I've really enjoyed that. I'll definitely be doing a few more of them.